Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Please introduce to everyone that my Live with Laura listeners who you are and where we're located right now.
My name is Ileana Ingram, and I live at 38 Fielder Avenue in Ortley Beach. This is my neighborhood.
So we're on the beach side, if you will, of Ocean Block. And this particular block, I see that they're doing construction on a house. Was that particular house demolished from Superstorm Sandy?
Actually, they were lucky. They had just knocked that house down.
Okay.
And we're going to be moving down here full time, so they fared pretty well.
Wow. So that's one of those miracle stories.
Yep.
Now I do see this fresh piece of pole that's in the ground here.
Yes.
And then I do see that we have a wire connecting to this pole. So there's electric hope here.
Yeah, that's my pole.
That's your pole.
That's where my house connects to.
Okay.
They just went up this week.
And just if we just can tell the listeners, we're on the month 4.
This is the anniversary, although there's only 28 days in February.
Right.
This is 4-month anniversary of the storm.
Right. So 4 months later.
Yes.
And now we're looking at a pole. Yes, we're getting excited about things we never thought we'd get excited about.
Exactly.
So let's walk and talk.
Okay.
So we're just walking towards this particular house, which fared not so well at all.
No. Actually, I believe my husband actually stayed during the storm. From what he thinks what happened is his house would have been okay, except for he had this house that ran into it and the house from behind.
Okay.
That was caused his house to get damaged.
Wow.
It was like a domino effect.
Yes.
Basically, the houses were playing bumper cars,
Yes.
basically, with each other. So,
I describe it to most of my viewers that are international viewers. We have international viewers and throughout the country that want to know where we are on month 4.
Right.
And when I tell them it's a combination of a tsunami,
It is.
a tornado, and a hurricane all wrapped up into one.
it is because when you stand, basically when you stand over there, if you look around, it's like a huge circle. It is completely like a cyclonic. It just goes around. And pretty much between Fielder and 9th Avenue, there are 24 homes that were either gone or have to be demolished.
And my understanding was there was 80 homes that were decimated off the face of the earth, as
Yes.
I say, that you woke up the next day and the home was gone. No clue that it was there except for the foundation.
Right. Well, this house here floated and ended up on 35.
Okay.
And then this house ran into this house ran into that house, and then I guess it stopped because I guess it must have lost its force.
Yes.
Or whatever.
So if I look at the house that's here, the blue house, your
that's
house,
the 9th house. Our house
yours
is the 10th.
next one.
Ours is so pretty much half the block, because the 10th house to the ocean is okay. I mean, to the street is okay. Everything before that, with the exception of one house, are gone or have to be demolished. So, and the sad part is that, even though these are summer homes for most of the peoples, with the exception of us, none of these people had flood insurance.
Okay.
None of these homes had flood insurance. So, everybody's pretty much going to either sell. I know a few of them are going to rebuild. The lady that owned this house is going to rebuild. What's even sadder is that these homes, these 2 homes, actually 3 homes, were still here when they sent in whoever they sent, because nobody is saying who's responsible. They took their homes away without even notifying the owners, with all their stuff in it.
Wow.
And the lady here is actually hired a lawyer because that was her family house. Her father built that house, and she had all her memorabilia from her parents who recently died, and she wasn't able to recoup any of it.
Wow.
So she's very, very sad. Very, very sad.
So let's keep walking forward so that people kind of get an understanding of what is the new normal here. Most residents, Ortley was where my children and I went all the time, both winter and summer, didn't matter. These dunes that we see in front of us, people ask me, were they there pre-Sandy? And
Yes, they were. Actually, that's the size of probably what they were. Although we're not sure, because since the ground dropped like so much, from what I understand, they're still lower than what they were originally. But that's not going to save us. We had like maybe 6-foot dunes.
Okay.
And they weren't very wide either. So.
Do you feel comfortable for us walking over here just a tad bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got my boots.
This house actually was, there was 2 houses here.
Okay.
So one was completely gone when my husband woke up. This one was knocked down afterwards. I mean, we can actually cut through here and go around the back if you want.
Yeah.
So I understand these 2 people are going to rebuild, but not sure when.
Okay.
This house here, I think this house has like 4 apartments. It did have a red sticker on it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be knocked down. I'm looking, they still have their meter. I'm not sure why they have their meter.
Okay.
But yeah, they have flood insurance, but they're still having problems. And then the only other full-time residents are right here. There's two streets that live here now. And both our houses didn't, they sustained water damage, but.
You know, it's amazing how a lot of my residents are saying to me, well, mine only had this and mine only had that. And any other storm, that would be a devastating statement. But what's happened now is the levels of devastation, and people are saying, well, I only got water damage. And, you know, that's just such an unreal statement, you know?
Well, it's not real, but it's become the norm.
It's the norm.
It's the norm of you're trying to find some normalcy in this abnormal situation.
Right.
It's basically what it boils down
Absolutely.
to.
So these homes here are some of the homes that were decimated off of our Ortley planet, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad.
It is.
It's like I sometimes come into my house and I'm like, okay, so I'm in my house. I can look at it as a remodeling, but then when you look outside, it's basically screwed up.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, like
what happened?
This house here, gone. That house was only 5 years old. They had hurricane straps, but guess what?
The other house went right into it.
So they had this one come in, and one from behind. That house is 10 feet off its foundation.
Wow.
10 feet. The whole kitchen collapsed.
Wow.
I cleaned that house. That was one of my summer houses that I cleaned.
Wow.
So is that blue one too back there. I cleaned 4 houses on this street. So not only, my house, but 3/4 of my cleaning business, is pretty much gone. So this one's being knocked down, this one's being knocked down, that one's being knocked down. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses. 6 houses.
On one street.
And this is my home.
Wow.
And everybody's wonders, how did all that stuff survive?
Explain that to me, because that's beautiful.
That's the miracle of it. I guess because most of it was rain, flood, and not necessarily wind.
Right. So you're telling
And my husband does a good job at it.
You're telling me that a lot of this was attached and stayed attached.
The things that he took down because he didn't want to lose, and he put them in the shed.
The shed is gone.
The shed is gone.
Wow.
So, the shed was here, but obviously some of the stuff that was inside got, But we found some things. People found some of our ship wheels on the bay on 8th Avenue, and they knew it was ours because
this is a conversation piece.
It is. Most people stop here and take pictures, and we'll walk out and people are like, we used to have a nice little sitting area here. We had a fence completely around, and we would find people like taking pictures on the back of the fences. We had all sorts of decorative, just like.
Yeah, I love it. Let me I'm going to pause the video.
You forget everything.
You know what? She has some really cool sayings here. This particular saying she has here is, hang in there, Moses was a basket case too. So humor is, I know, right?
Yeah.
So now we're just on your upper deck right now, just taking another aerial view of your neighborhood. So to recap, we've got 4 homes that I'm looking straight ahead. She's gracious enough to let us see what the inside of her home now looks
Go
like.
this way, so I'm
So
careful.
there's
So this was my kitchen.
okay.
So we didn't have an actual front entrance. We had 2 side entrances. So this is my kitchen.
Okay.
This is my dining room.
So you had a crawl space.
crawl space.